Alrighty, everybody, welcome to episode 5, our watch through and our reaction. You've got me. My name's Becky. I am the creator and a lot of other things. We've got Walt, our director for the episode, Jan, who plays her own twin, very exciting stuff, and Emily. I think you make your first appearance in this episode. It's
Oh,
pretty
very exciting.
She also did a lot of other things behind the scenes. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started. You faked your death.
It was the only way.
Do you know what that did to me? To your father? To Adrian?
We had to do it.
You're in this with him?
It couldn't be helped.
We need your help.
I should have shot you when I had the chance.
I'm standing here right now.
Guys, we don't have time for this. Lives are at stake.
What do you need from me?
We tracked down one of Taco's informants. We need you to feed him some information.
This can't be right.
No, my information is never wrong.
Theta 4.
Oh, that was one time.
Today, the information is correct.
We need to know if we can count on you to help us.
Doesn't seem like I have much of a choice.
You know I'm not wrong.
Is that what you told DuBost? Before you got him killed? What about Philip and Pierre?
I told him the truth.
Your version of the truth. Anything that will help you achieve your objective. At any cost.
Oh, a cost? You were talking about cost? How many lives did you lose at Alpha 5?
At least they knew what was coming.
Oh yeah, particle beam.
Better than a knife in the back.
Oh yeah, you would know.
I'm nothing like you, and you know it.
Oh yeah, what was the name of that kid?
You're an ass.
Sticks and stones.
May, open the door.
This isn't gonna be happy. I still don't see what you ever saw in that man.
Not doing this.
I mean, I see why you broke it off.
Still not doing this.
I get you mad. I would be too if you had faked your death and didn't tell me about it, but eventually I'd forgive you.
This is not good for us.
This is not good for us.
I care.
We're trying to get away from where she's going. No,
you guys are trying to take our kids away. You keep backing her up. She doesn't know what's going on.
She's completely sane.
She is not. This is not.
You've been doing this for years.
This is not good for us. I care. Don't you care?
I care. Of course I care. I love my kids. What guys are always doing your house?
Now that I have your attention, it's late. Let's all get some sleep.
We thought they kidnapped you.
Hey, Mom, you have spoken enough for tonight. Look, you've seen her. She's fine.
I demand to know who's been discharging firearms at this hour. The yelling was bad enough. Captain Lucas, I should have known. Ambassador, it would be better if you just went back to your quarters. I'm not surprised to see you here, Admiral. You always did have a knack for disturbing the peace. Some of us live life, others are merely a nuisance.
Admiral, don't take this the wrong way, but...
My twin sister. We all have family we'd rather not claim at times. Get some sleep, Captain. You're gonna need it.
That screaming match has been going on since you left.
I'm not surprised.
Ah, you'd think they'd be able to wire the lights to work correctly.
Are you hurt?
No.
Renee, open the door.
You don't have to answer that.
Yes, I do. If I don't, they'll break down the door.
Just stay there. I'll get it.
What is going on? I heard a thud.
I told you you were imagining it.
I was not imagining it, Thomas. I distinctly heard a thud.
Mom, any number of things could have made that noise.
Why are you so flushed?
I'm sure we're all exhausted.
Yes. Let's all get some sleep.
You make sure you call me if you need anything.
Okay.
I'll be sure to do that,
Angela,
Mom.
you can see Renee in the morning. All right. Yeah. Right. Okay.
I wouldn't call that woman if the building were on fire.
I don't know how you do it.
There are days like today. And then there are days like today.
Dad.
Joanna? Is this real? How is this possible?
She faked her death to expose a conspiracy within the fleet. She's done that. Well, sort of.
You faked your death?
I had to, Dad. But I'll tell you all about it.
Oh. Thanks.
If you need anything, we'll be outside.
The higher-ups are always hiding and conspiring about something. That woman looked like that friend of yours and Renee's. What was her name?
Joanna?
No, that wasn't it, was it? I thought it was more foreign sounding. Anyway, it can't be her. She's dead.
Kelly, you're supposed to be dead. It's a long story. Short version, I'm not. Yay!
What is going on?
I faked my death, Kel.
I knew it! I knew there was a conspiracy going on. You can't even trust your own people. And you, my own daughter-in-law.
Angela! I am not.
Save your lies. I'm gonna tell Peter and everyone your secret.
Are you gonna go after her?
Nope, she's nuts. No one's gonna believe her.
She's your mother-in-law.
Yeah, I'm painfully aware.
Enemy agents have infiltrated the fleet.
I don't care if they infiltrated your mother's undershorts. You should have told us.
I couldn't, Kel.
Tell that to your brother.
Mom, Dad, please stay.
At some point in time, one has to distance themselves from those who participate in untruths.
What are you talking about?
Your wife.
What about Kelly?
Dad, why are Grandma and Grandpa so mad at Mom?
That's a good question.
We always knew there was something going on, but we didn't have any proof until now. And Kelly's involved.
Siren, that's what she is. And she's taken my only son and involved him in a conspiracy.
Dad, stop with
yes,
the conspiracy.
a conspiracy.
No, there's no conspiracy.
Oh, yes, there is. People faking their own deaths to root out the enemy. That friend of Kelly and Renee's, the Admiral's daughter. She's not dead.
She died months ago.
Well, it didn't take. I saw her with my own eyes.
We're not safe here. We are going home.
Come on, girls.
The girls stay.
You would side with them.
If by them you mean my wife and sister, then yes.
You are not keeping us from our grandkids.
Watch me.
Come on, Angela. There's no sense in arguing. The siren has his call.
I never liked that harpy.
Siren, dear.
What's the difference?
Good point.
Dad, will we ever see Grandma and Grandpa again?
I hope so.
And you're sure about this intelligence?
It's been verified.
They're smart. This isn't the first time they've hired an assassin, but taking out our most experienced ship's officers? That's new.
What do you want us to do, Admiral?
There's only one thing to do. We have to get the surviving captains off-world. They'll be safer in their individual ships.
We'll see to it, Admiral.
Captain Hahn will take over command of the Cerberus. The Pegasus will remain in space dock until a new captain and first officer can be selected.
What about the Odyssey? She's still undergoing her refit.
The refit will have to be done underway.
You take care of yourself, Renee.
I always do. Fleet will keep security posted around you and the girls for the next couple days. Make sure you're safe.
Thank you.
Wish I was coming with you.
We've got more important things to take care of.
Mom and Dad are gonna be upset that they missed saying goodbye.
Thanks for the thought, little brother. I miss you so much. Remember, I'm only a bridge animal.
Captain, Dr. Smith asked me to escort you all the way to your quarters.
She didn't.
Up to you, Captain.
What would it take for you to forget to escort me to my quarters?
If she asks, I walked you all the way to your quarters.
Thanks, Kelso.
My pleasure, Captain.
Get away from that! What? Yeah, ha ha, that's real funny. Mama finds out the revenge I had, she's gonna cry. We'll all cry. We'll laugh, cry. You know what I mean.
See, you've already pissed Okiki out.
A little bit of humor to lighten the mood, Captain.
We ready for departure?
Just waiting for your order, Captain.
It's given. Let Admiral Rathbone know that we'll be departing and set course for the Foxtrot system.
Lights?
It's about time you got back here.
Computer, any messages?
That's all I am, is a glorified answering machine. No, hello, how are you today, computer? Just any messages.
I've missed this.
I can't say that the feeling's mutual.
Computer.
No new messages.
You really should change your key code on your door.
I did.
Reversing 1, 2, 3, 4 isn't a change.
What do you want?
You're right about me. At least partly.
Sounds like you've had an epiphany.
This isn't over.
We should all bow down to your greatness.
That would be nice. But that's not what I'm here. I'll be around.
He's not wrong, you know. You really should change your key code.
We're in Grand Central today. Been in there long.
I wanted to make sure you made it here.
You know you're gonna have to do your own dirty work at some point.
I guess I'll just have to revel in the shock and awe and sometimes drool as people find out I'm still alive.
All right. Well, that was episode 5. How do we feel about episode 5, guys?
Good, of course. One thing I've I've liked through all the episodes so far is, although there's some adventure and there's some like very deep feelings and emotions, there's just always that little bit of comedy going through with, like, Martin, where he just, you motion at his gun and he, like, really, and nothing is said. It's just that little bit of, just back and forth. Yeah, there's also that underlying theme of comedy, so it offsets the drama. It offsets, what's going on a little bit, and makes it, the emotions that much better.
I agree, and also I always like comedy in this, a little bit of comedy in this kind of thing. It tells me that we're not taking it too seriously. I mean, it's obviously science fiction. There's a lot of interesting things going on that we know are not reality based. And I never enjoy shows where they take themselves too seriously. And this has just enough of the humor in it that it's like, okay, yeah, this seems more real. Because you know what? In real life, when we have dramatic things going on, we tend to find reasons to laugh. Something. I mean, if you've ever been to a funeral service, a lot of times, the stories being told about the people and everything, that's what we do as humans to release some of the tension. One of the things we do, we cry, but we also laugh. And
Right.
so I think you're right, Walt, about all of that.
Well, I think anybody who gets to the privilege of seeing any of Becky's projects that she writes, that's like her signature. The banter and the hints of humor. It is grounded in reality. And that's one reason why I appreciate the script and I appreciate the acting and everybody bringing these moments to life. Like that silent like interaction, like that was so chef's kiss. Like I loved it. And then him like letting you shoot the gun and then he's holding it getting in trouble. Like that's just great. So
Did have some help from Walt in getting the timing down on that.
It was great. You did. I mean, you had it there. It was just, yeah, it was your writing.
Yeah. But it helps when you've got somebody who's behind the camera hoping to get those moments captured.
Okay. I like the whole interaction here, by the way, with, not only you realizing she's alive, but, and then just that banner back and forth, and like this little scene with her eyes just going back and forth, and just like, there's just a lot there.
Yeah.
Without her saying anything, you're reading a lot into that.
Yeah, Haley was great in this. She gave a lot. Just sitting there watching it.
You're an ass.
Yeah. I think she was very excited to say that line, if I remember right. I remember filming this scene. And I remember it because it was the first scene I shot this day. And this was the day. This is one of our first days where you were on set, Walt. And I was upstairs dealing with some family stuff because I had just gotten a call from my brother.
Right.
Who told me that my foster nephew would be going to live with his birth family. And so Walt called me down for something unrelated, and I'm sitting there trying not to lose it. And you kindly stopped everything, made sure I was okay. But this was the first scene I shot that day. And I'm grateful it was the first scene I shot that day because I was able to pour everything into that.
Right.
Change with Haley, like, I'm not doing this. So that is one of the scenes I remember exactly what was going through my mind when we shot it.
I was just realizing how young we all look. Like, oh shit, this really was a long time ago.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
I like the little light effect. Yeah. You don't actually see it leave the gun, you just see the blast hitting the ceiling, even though you can't see the ceiling.
Yeah. Well, you directed it that way to make it easy the process.
I was pretty amazed with how you cut this to make it. I mean, you did a good job with this. Whoever did the editing on this, I guess it was you, Becky.
It was a combination of Cassidy and I. The one spot was that little jump with me because I wasn't in the exact same spot where we cut it together. So I my head jumps a little bit.
I didn't even notice.
I didn't
Me either.
notice. Now I'm looking for it.
It's already happened.
Dang it.
We missed it.
Listen, I've watched it a lot. A lot.
We'll believe you.
So there are things I noticed that I'm like,
But
I
great
like
job.
this.
Yeah, great job with the twins, though. You know, just
well, that happened because of you, Walt. You planned that whole thing out.
yeah. But I mean, just the acting was nice and different. You know, you could tell who was who immediately. You know,
Jan did a fabulous job. I remember you were like, "Oh, we need time. I got to go paint our nails."
Right, we did do that took some time.
Nails, yeah. You and Lisa had a whole plan.
Yeah, we had the whole thing. I actually channeled my older sister to be the ambassador. And when I was watching it the other day, I thought, oh yeah, boy, that's my sister. That's good. We're a little bit different. We're alike but different. She's not my twin, but people think we're twins often. So that's what I did that. What was I just gonna say? Oh, one thing I've learned from this is watching myself playing the Admiral. I would work on my military bearing just a little bit more. I'm kind of a schlumper. So.
Well, you're not alone in that. I was too.
Maybe they're not so serious about that in the future, right? Yeah.
That was kind of my approach to it.
A little more relaxed. We all wear jeans.
Jeans in front of a blue screen wall. Sure, yeah. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. I do love that the cannoli appears a lot.
Yeah.
The piece of artwork on the wall there, we called it the cannoli.
Oh.
I currently am the proud owner of the cannoli. It's
all got the cannoli.
Actually, yeah.
Oh.
All got the cannoli. We had the cannoli, the fluffy cannoli, and then we had the baconator, I think is what we called the other one, which we don't see till a later episode.
This is one of those scenes where it's so emotion packed, and then you're falling over in your chair. They're so caught up in greeting each other, and they don't even notice that you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Which I did pull out my microphone the other day because the one thing I wish we would have done day of was get me going help.
Oh.
Yeah.
I recorded that like 2 days ago.
Nice.
Like, I'm doing it. We're adding it. Just it needs that last little bit of
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Megan helped me pick out the right help.
I really like the shot between the arms too.
Yeah.
Just I was like, oh, I like that shot. I wonder who figured that out. Oh yeah.
Oh, that would be Walt.
That'd be Walt. He did good.
Walt figured it out. This is one of those shots because you could see the window. So I was able to like mask it out and extend the wall.
Nice.
Hide the window.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. I found some ways to hide those stupid blinds.
Was it earlier in this or later as we're watching it that the blinds are actually kind of open? You can see the outside. And I thought, I can see where that would have set you back a little bit.
Oh,
was walking by some open blinds. They're open a little bit.
There's been a few. Yeah. That last scene with me in the chair.
Yeah.
The blue screen. Before I thickened the blue screen, we just stuck that in the window and the blinds were open. That's why that scene is like blue lit. Because I was like, oh, it's a blue panel.
Okay.
It's nighttime. I was like, I'll just, because I had cut that scene originally, and then I was like, we'll put it back in. But there was no way to fix the blinds. You can't blue screen that. And this one, it really was a bright day outside.
Mm-hmm.
With those blinds.
Well, once again, but here you're at the space station, right? I mean, you're on Earth.
Yeah, on Earth for this. So I was like, okay.
It's all right to have daylight coming in.
A different color. Or if we could have opened them, but there was nothing there at the time when we filmed. It was a dirt lot with a megaplex across the street.
Right.
All the cars parked there in the dirt lot. Kind of shatters the illusion of it being 300 years in the future.
Well, there could be dirt lots and megaplexes 300 years from now.
For those who aren't local to the state of Utah, a Megaplex is basically a movie theater. It's like an AMC or a Regal or a Cinemark. It's just the big chain. I am glad that Michael said yes to this.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Oh yeah,
Fabulous.
Yeah, he did great.
He was somebody I knew from high school, and I noticed he had gotten into voiceover, and I needed somebody to play my brother, and I was like, oh, maybe I should see if Michael's interested. And he said, yeah, he came down and played and did great. I had two friends from high school. We had Michael, and then I had Jamie came over and was one of our victims that gets shot in the head. So he was there for like an hour, but he was so excited.
And there's our Emily and our Jan, all in one scene.
And Jan in one scene.
Our big scene together, Emily.
Yeah.
You guys have a few scenes together over the course of the 10 episodes.
Gotta say, I was relieved not to cringe at watching myself.
Oh, I still cringe a little by watching me, but that's okay.
Also why it's taken 9 years. Yeah. Watching myself, editing myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost never watch anything I've been in, as far as I just don't. But you asked me to watch these, so I did.
I know. And I'm grateful. You helped me make sure all the sound sounded okay.
Yeah.
We could hear the dialogue.
The previous shot that had the girls on the stairs, I still have a thing on my phone, a video where the girls all leaned down and then popped up all together on the stairway. It's like, oh yeah, there's that.
Those three had a lot of fun on set. They were constantly giggling. And Emily in the pink was and is still a character.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that on set.
She was a character.
Yeah, the bloopers with her faces are priceless.
Especially when she refuses to hug the group.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
I wish I could have incorporated, if I had known that was just her personality, I wish I would have been able to incorporate it more into the character. Shown a little bit more of it.
Melissa, that's Melissa, right? That's her name, Melissa.
Melissa.
She was another really solid character that just wasn't particularly quirky or anything. She was just kind of a real person doing her job on the ship. And I really enjoyed watching her as well.
Yeah.
Fabulous job.
And these guys were quirky.
Well, Jacob, yeah. Connor was pretty straight-laced, but he had a lot of fun. Especially with Melissa, because him and Melissa run rampant in 8 and 9 shooting people.
That's right.
Oh, right.
Because they got to dose everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a good job with that. But we'll leave that for...
That's tomorrow's commentary.
I kind of wish we'd had a little Firefly ship just kind of exit somewhere. Yeah.
Right. Gosh, I'm still mad at Fox for canceling that show.
We all are. We get it.
Yeah, we all are. It's a thing.
It had the potential to be the best sci-fi thing ever.
It's a thing. Will always be a thing.
And again, on this, I just love the voice of the computer. It's just so snarky and yeah.
Yeah, Connor did good on the computer.
Yeah. I do. If I were ever to actually take this to like full budget production, we actually did it. I would incorporate the snarky computer so much more.
Yeah.
So much, because that's a whole character of itself.
Indeed.
I feel like this scene really worked.
I did too.
Yeah.
Bryce really could see in his eyes everything that was going on. Did a good job.
Yeah.
Always does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
He's a scene partner that I never worry when I've worked with him. I'm like, he's going to show up ready to go.
He did. Yeah.
And bring it. And
that off.
He also, even though that character is like so down to earth and very real, there are moments in other episodes where he brings out this quirky random stuff and it's like, what? Where did this come from? But it works for the character. So he's one that you never know what to expect from Bryce.
It is great how just everyone's in your room. You know, it's just
Grand Central.
Yeah, Grand Central. Just
everybody knows my door code apparently.
I love
You
that.
should really change it.
Yeah, I know. Reversing 1, 2, 3, 4 isn't a change. Yeah.
But how well they knew you to know that that's would have been what you changed it to.
Change it. I'm not gonna be bothered. I got enough other stuff to deal with. Just keep it simple. I got a ship to run. I'm not gonna mess around with this.
Right. And again, the in-laws, you know, just rocked. They were solid and irritating, and you know, it's like, fine, come on, kids. It's like, whoa, you're not taking the kids. Well, then come on, you know. Will we see him again? I hope so. You know, it's like maybe they'll come around.
That is the one thing that anybody who ever watches the parents are like, oh my gosh.
Right.
I know people like that. I know people like that.
We all know people like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a thing. Well, what is there anything specific we remember that we learned specifically from this episode? We've learned a lot. We have learned a lot over the course of filming these 4 episodes we've done the commentary for so far.
I do notice there's a few times where like the doors just don't open quite as much as you would think they would, you know. And I noticed that your editing is like, oh, the door slides, they start to turn, and it's like, oh, and we're gonna cut before we see see them have to try to walk sideways through the door because they're just on those rails that were sliding back and forth.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was that we hadn't set up what we called the Insta wall. And so you can see everything just haphazardly piled in the kitchen. If we open the full door and they exit, or there's like no light out there, or we just didn't open the door all the way because we're like, we're going to cut.
Susan starts to, because they were hard to get to slide open smoothly a lot of the times. And so a lot of times you'd start pulling on them and I'd hear them like, and it's like, okay, let's cut. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
It got to the point where certain directors would just leave it like 6 inches open and we just get the end of it, which is fine until you get to the editing room.
Yeah, I did notice a couple of scenes got cut off, not just with doors, but just got cut off quickly. And I'm sure there was a reason for doing that. But just it kind of reinforces the importance of letting a scene play out and having that final kind of last look or whatever you need to have that little beat or two.
Right.
Yeah, I think like an overall lesson, you know, for anybody who is planning on doing a no budget anything, like don't trust fixing it in the edit. Do it. Just don't trust fixing it in the edit. Just do it right. Get it right in the shot. Get it right in the shot.
You can fix a lot of things in the edit, but you have to have the footage.
Right.
To fix it. That honestly has been the biggest challenge is I'd be like, oh, do we have another angle I can cut to here to finish out the scene? No. Or we have another angle, but we weren't paying attention to what was in the background. Can't use it. There are scenes where we have like a full-on light that says, do not stick anything on the lamp in the background. Or we have full scenes where people walked fully out the doors. The doors actually worked. However, again, we have all the stuff haphazardly piled in the background. Or like Megan's in the background. And she's seen that clip and she was like, wait a second. I remember that day and I asked, am I seen in the shot? And y'all told me no. And so it's things like there are times where I'll walk through and I see everything. Did I think to say, hey, we should fix this? No.
Right. Well, then we were shooting in. Yeah, it's not like we had a big sound stage and just that room was its own thing. It was because it's a 12-foot by 12-foot room or whatever it was. there was not a lot of, a lot of the shots are close because that's as far away as we can get the camera and still be able to have any motion, and stuff. So, it's not like we can get like, oh, we're going to get this complete other shot of the room because there's just no place to do it from sometimes.
It was also like 4 and 5 when we were up on that second floor filming the stuff in Renee, like the diplomatic quarters and Renee's quarters and all that. We only had the door wall up there.
Right.
We didn't have the manpower to bring up that other 4-foot flat wall to make a full wall, do some stuff. And so that's why some of those shots are cut the way they are, is because we had to make it work.
Well done, though.
You did for the most part.
Seriously.
That goes to Walt. Walt did a great job making sure we had that coverage.
Did you direct, Walt?
What's that?
How many episodes did you direct?
6? 5? 6?
1, 2, 4, and 5 you directed in their entirety, and then you were kind of smattered throughout.
Oh, that's right. I did pick up. Yeah, there were several of them that they were like, oh, we need to reshoot this scene that someone else did, and Walt's here. Let's have him do it while we have the people. So
yeah. So Walt,
that's good.
Then I acted in 2, I think.
10, yeah.
Yeah,
none of this would have happened without everybody, because everybody ended up wearing multiple hats.
Yeah, I mean, just things like, hey, we've got lunch break coming up, and when you get done that the lunch is ready and it's waiting for you, and you have the set time to eat, and then everyone's back on set, so everyone's, you'd munch it down, and then I was always going back downstairs and going, how can I shoot this next scene? How can I, I'm like, wherever we're going to shoot next, I'm just sitting there with the script going, what the hell are we doing? or trying to figure out just one more way to make a corridor so we can, arrange that so that every corridor doesn't look like we're walking down the same wall, But
you did great. We might have a lot of weird short corridors with sharp corners, but you did great. None of them look the same.
Well, it's almost like an entire, cliche or trope or whatever of this style of a show. I mean, about the only space show I can think of that doesn't have long corridors people walking down is probably Firefly. Everything else just has people walking and having this huge conversation down these long corridors. Star Trek and the Orville and whatever, the corridors happen as they're in corridors as often as they're in a room most of the time. And so, yeah, we just need to, it's like.
That drives my husband crazy. He'll go, there would never be that much room on a spaceship. They're not going to make spaceships with these big, huge corridors like that. That's a waste of space. That's ridiculous. That always drove him crazy. He would love more confined. Yeah, more realistic.
Did he work on a submarine or a ship at some time?
He was in the Navy, but he didn't. He was an explosive ordnance disposal guy, diver. So he was on different kinds of ships. Yeah, they used to go out and find mines and either dismantle them or blow them up.
I'm glad he's still with us.
Oh no, he loved it. He was in the Persian Gulf after the first Gulf War. Taking care of mines. And people always said, are you worried about him? I said, nope, don't have time to be worried about him. I had a bunch of kids and he was overseas and I knew he was good at what he did. And trusted his team.
Yeah.
He's still picky about things, explosions. And when you don't ever want to watch a movie where they're going to have to, take apart a bomb or something. Cause they'll be like, oh, you have to, and he's going, they just got to remove the blasting clap. It's just fine. Or the whatever kind of a bomb it is. If they just unplug that, they're fine. It's not like, shh. You're taking all the suspense out of it.
That does sound like your husband.
Oh yeah, you've met Dave.
Yes, I've met Dave. I'm laughing because that's Dave. Fine.
What were you gonna say, Emily? You started to say something, I think.
Oh well, thank your husband for his service. But I think that this whole thing was I'm sure for Becky, but also for myself, just like a huge college degree in production and like thinking like to give Becky credit, she's so organized and her schedule is always just so on point and communication and getting people on set and having lunch and like she ran a really good literal ship on her spaceship and like that it made it possible for all of us to come together to support this.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah,
After
you
war,
knew who was going to be there. You knew what time they were going to be there. You knew what time. You had what scenes were planned for what days, what times for each actor. Because there were days we had so many different actors just like coming through the door constantly and leaving constantly all day long. And I'd go down and shoot a scene. I'd come back up and there's a whole new group of people and a whole other people have gone. And I'm like, how did this happen? And it was all you because your planning was really well done.
She's really good at that stuff. She's really, really good at any kind of producing, and as we know now, she's also a very accomplished actress. Which I think she didn't know that before. So,
I appreciate that. There were days I did not feel like the planning was coming together.
Oh, it was.
I know you didn't feel like it. I know you felt like you were falling short and that maybe falling apart and all of that. I know like during it you didn't feel it, but I was watching it in awe the whole way through because I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess. That's why you were texting me 5 seconds before I hopped on because you're like, oh, please, Emily. But like I aspire to be even like a tenth like organized as you are. And yeah, so how this came together like would not have happened if you were not the brainchild of so many of the aspects of this. And I was just there to support you. Like I'm really good at being told what to do. The showing up on time is a little bit fuzzy, but I do show up and I do follow through. Like I do have that going for me. But it takes great leadership and great direction, and you did that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Because like I said, in it doesn't feel like that. Did not. There were days I was like, I don't know.
It was,
which is why I'm really. Walt said yes, because when Walt was there, I was like, I gotta worry. Walt's handling the shots. I can go memorize my lines. I can go make sure catering's taken care of. I can do these other things.
There was a definite difference with some of the directors as far as that went, Walt. So thank you for that. Yeah.
There was
yeah.
You did your job.
I wasn't there for them most of the time, so okay, thanks.
No, well, you were never a director I had to worry about, which I appreciated because it was one less thing that I had to worry about that day.
Right.
I felt like you were more decisive about things. I mean, you were always kind of a step ahead as far as I didn't feel like we were waiting as long as we did with some of the others who did a good job. I mean, but with you kind of were thinking ahead, so sometimes there weren't these long delays like we had with other episodes.
I think one thing I've learned in the course of like just being involved in acting and on productions and stuff is the importance of directors. Like I didn't fully appreciate it until I worked on things and then like saw the production side of everything. And not saying that all, there are obviously bad directors, but like most directors are okay. And then there are these league of directors that think of the whole picture. And Walt, you're one of those that thinks of the whole picture, not just the episode, not just the scenes around each scene. Like you thought of like the whole story arc and making sure that everything lined up with the characters and how everybody's interacting, and then like the small details of like changing up the corridor backgrounds. Like you were thinking of all these like little things that add up to like big impact when it's all put together.
To be
So
fair,
that
most of that was Becky. I'm going to take a little credit on it. I'm good with that. But most of that was Becky, her writing, her characters, the way they acted and stuff. So much of that was just baked into the writing that a lot of that stuff I didn't have to worry about because, I mean, they show up in their crazy shorts and bandoliers with stuff hanging off of them. I'm just like, wait, who is this? Oh, it's that guy. Okay. Yeah, he is supposed to be goofy. Okay, we're good. But yeah, it was just, most of that was, Becky had 90% of that stuff done for me.
but I mean, a great writing has been ruined by bad directing and bad acting, like, and then vice versa. Like, okay, writing has been amped up by excellent acting and excellent directing, and so like it all plays a part. And so yeah, the skeleton was there, and you fleshed it out beautifully.
I agree. I told Becky, when I first watched these ones that she had fixed up, and I said, look, she was saying, look for things that you think aren't working, and the sound, especially sound and light and that sort of thing. And I said, look, the script was never the problem. The story was never the problem. The problem was, and 99% of the acting was not the problem. The problem was always just the no budget for the production parts of things. And so, you guys did the best you could with what you had. And it came out.
There's only so many places you can put a light in a living room or in
there was just no way to place the lights without messing it up. So
that's something, if I were to do it again, like I would have blueprints laid out exactly where everything goes to help speed up those transitions, because we use the same room for so many different things.
Right.
If I had done that sooner, I think that would have helped as far as lighting and adjusting all that stuff goes. I think that and it left me. So we'll go with that.
I think that's like, yeah, okay. How many lessons have we learned? 4 episodes in, or 5 episodes in? Did you guys watch 3?
No. Not yet. 3's next week.
Oh, okay.
You're there for that one because it's Australian.
I love that one. Okay. So how many lessons have we learned? Be mindful of what's in the shot. Try to get the whole shot through. So you're not rushing cutting things. Good writing is a great place to start.
It's always my husband and I, when we're watching a show, sometimes we just turn things off. Now we'll just go, the writing, it's just the script. You can't, and they have wonderful actors, and the directors, and the production is beautiful on it, and it's just, they can't save it. They cannot save it when it's poor writing. Just can't.
Yeah, what's the old saying? Every film gets made 3 times. Once by the writer, once by the director, and then once by the editor. And so it's just a matter of, the nice thing is about having Becky do 2 of those things is that she was able to, like, okay, here's the important parts I need to salvage no matter what, and keep true to the storyline and keep the emotion in, and keep the hits hitting where they're supposed to hit. So yeah.
And then let's see, blueprints.
Yeah.
Maybe even storyboards.
Yeah.
If you want to go that far.
That is something I wish I would have done with Walt before he shows up for the first day of filming. Was I wish we would have had more of a meeting to have you come down, and we could have planned stuff out a little bit better. There's never, you think you've planned everything and then you realize I didn't.
Yeah.
And you wish you would have had, like, I wish I would have had more time for planning. I wish we would have had time to actually move that flat wall up to the second floor earlier.
All right.
Things like, let's get a second recliner up there so Renee has 2 chairs in her quarters, so it's not this weird shot. Things like that. Just planning in general.
Well, that first day when you get there and it's like, okay, what lights do we have? to work with.
That
You
too.
know? And we had
whatever you brought and the few that I had.
Right. And then there was as far as sound goes, our person running sound changed a lot. And it's tough to get really consistent sound with even just a couple of changes, but we had I'm teaching people how to use the sound equipment the day of. And it's like oh, it's yeah. And sound is so important.
It's so important.
Very important. But we did have a revolving door where sound folks were concerned. It was a no budget project. So I'd have somebody that knew how to run it, that had committed, and then they got a paying gig.
What are you going to do?
I can't be like, you committed to me first. That's how we lose people.
Yep.
All I can do is be understanding. I understand. It's a paycheck. Go.
Yeah.
Especially we have to be mindful that a lot of the stuff that we're learning at this point, I think most people understand through the experience of doing it the hard way the first time. Oh, I'm going to prevent this again. Experience creates the smooth productions for sure. So whose turn is it to turn their house into a spaceship? Let's do this again. Season 2.
Spielberg, didn't he? Maybe it was him. He was being interviewed one time and he said, yeah, if you're interested in being a filmmaker, just make films. Just make films. Just make short films, just do it. Just get the experience. Just learn how to do it. You'll learn something every time. You just have to keep doing it. We have a friend who's an artist, makes his living as an artist. And in fact, is Noah's dad. Noah's one of the actors you saw him in the previous episodes. And he used to say, when he was learning, he was told, paint your first 500 paintings and then throw them all away. How you learn how to do it. And it's the same with filmmaking. You just have to keep doing it.
Yeah, my recent motto the last couple of years has been fail forward. I've just been giving myself permission to suck at things, openly suck at things and be like, I'll figure it out. And it's gotten me to push past the hesitation to start anything, because once you start, you can finish. Even if it takes years, you can still finish. And that's where you learn, start to finish. But you've got to start first, and then you've got to persevere and finish. And then you got to go, okay, now I've learned, I'm going to start again and finish it again and learn some more. And then that reiteration. So failing forward, it's been a really strong motto for me.
Well, one thing I think, especially, in film as much as anywhere, when people find out that you act, the first thing they say is, oh, do you want to go to Hollywood? You're going to be a big star. And I'm like, no, I just love to act, And the same thing is true even in filmmaking. It's sure, if something hits it and the right people see it and I get lucky and I had the right script and the right actors and things just fall into place, it might go someplace and that would be great because then I could do more of it. Do I expect to become a rich director? Do I expect to become a famous filmmaker? No, but I'm not going to stop making films because I love doing it. That's what a thing, especially like this, where it was a no paid, pure passion from everybody going into it, that we just wanted to make the best thing we could do, and it really worked out well. So
it all somehow came together.
So thank you, Becky, for making it happen.
Thank you. You all said yes to this crazy idea and helped make it possible. Like I said, without the cast and the crew, none of this would have happened.
Who doesn't want to be in a sci-fi series?
Right. When do you get a chance to do that?
This is bucket list stuff. Okay, Becky, you checked off some bucket list people.
I know I checked off some bucket list stuff, but there were people that said no.
Yeah, and they missed out.
That's all for the people who said yes, none of this would have happened without them.
But when it all comes down to it, you're the one that got the ball rolling.
Yes. Yeah, because
it was your dream, it was your insight, it was your story, it was your writing that everyone went, okay, we trust Becky with this. We're all going to hop on. So
And I'm very grateful that you all trusted me with it because I look back on that and I was like, I really like now I know a lot. But then I had no idea what I was doing.
That's the
Now,
beauty.
now
was
she
like,
tells us.
people kept telling me, "Well, I'm not getting cast in anything," and I was like, "All right, well, if I do this thing, everybody gets footed."
That's true.
And I'm gonna use it.
Started.
Gosh darn it. You're gonna see baby faced Emily. Oh my god, we all look so young.
To be honest, I don't think I mean, other than the fact my hair is a little more gone and my beard's growing in for a different part, I don't. Looking at the group of you now, I think you all look about the same. I don't. There's not a big difference.
Not a big difference, but there is a difference.
You've all aged well. Yeah.
No, I have the filters on Zoom. You can adjust it, and it makes you look a bit better.
Age
I just have that bright light. It's
I was on a Zoom call with somebody, and something came about age, and they said, "Well, you're not. How old are you?" And I told them, and they went, "Oh, you look younger." And I said, "You haven't seen me in real daylight. You're only seeing me on this." So,
Well, we are all definitely older and wiser.
Hopefully.
And wiser. Yes.
Learned a lot. The fact we can look back on it and laugh and go, yeah, no, we did something pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome.
It is something cool. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I'm so glad that you finished it because
me too. me too.
I'm gonna have to take off.
Yeah, it's about that time for all of us. So thank you all for joining in for 4 and 5. These will 1 and 2 are scheduled to drop on the 4th of April. So we'll start seeing some social media posts hopefully from folks.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, you will.
Awesome. Thank you all. And
thank you.
Bye.